Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're having a good morning. Luna and I had a tough morning yesterday, but this morning we're having a much better morning. I'll adjust the camera just a little bit, get a little bit more of the backyard and squirrels and trees and stuff like that. It's a little cool today. As you can see, I got a jacket on. Ah, Luna had a bunch of balls thrown to her this morning. We had a good walk, and now I'm going to have some coffee and get my day really kicked off. Well, it's already been kicked off by my friend and buddy Lona. Just a little bit more, and we're on our way. Hope you have something that gets your day started too. Mm. Ah, well, yesterday I had a whole bunch of audio problems. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if there was a update in the software or uh, there was a lot of moisture in the air, so maybe that could have affected the connectivity of the headphones. So we're going to continue about getting yourself out there. So one of the things that uh, I really appreciate about technology, and it's sad to say this. So when you're out in the world and you're with a group of people, it's not unusual to have one person dominate the conversation or somebody who ridicules people into being quiet. And in social network, that happens too, but you do have alternatives. You can, one, uh, you can, well, it depends on the platform you're using. A lot of them you can uh, block that person's responses, or uh, you can turn off notifications so you don't even know if you get a response to one of your replies and just go on. It kind of creates a um, if you don't re- look at the replies to your responses, it can create a one direction talk. I remember one time, but I mean, that happens in real life too. So a lot of times we think that's a bad thing that social media does that. Because the truth is, you can get on there and see what somebody said to you. But you also have real life. You have people that block you from talking. Have you guys ever heard of uh, the call-in radio shows where you call in and talk to somebody? I called in once. They were talking. The subject was schools that were boys or girls. Oh, a second. Oh, the hell did it go? Where did it? Oh, there it is. I was never found it. Uh, I, it's get it under somewhere I couldn't see it. Anyway, so when I grew up, I went to an all-boys school called Christian Brothers. They had a, a sister school of ladies, Actually, two of them. Yeah, I think two. One of them was the main one, and there was another smaller one. Uh, anyway, so they were talking about schools that were divided up by boys and girls, and I called in, and I got put me on hold, and then they got me to talking to the guy that was there, and he was an ass. He was horrible. He called me a homo, and he disgraced me, and he was ugly, and all I was going to do was say that I actually had a fairly good experience there. People were real nice. It was a horrible it was not a conversation. He was using me as a punching bag. That wasn't social media. That was, that was somebody in a position of authority because he was in control of the mic. He could mute me anytime he wanted, and he knocked me off so many times. I hung up. Uh, but that happened before social media. These kind of ugly things that people think are so changed now. Oh, it's so much worse. It's only it's the quality of that demeaning stuff. It's always been there. It's just uh more. There's more, and there's a lot less of other things too. I think there's less physical. Uh, there used to be a lot of you know you, people getting in your face and telling you don't you dare talk about that and physically threatening you. That's a lot less. Now there's other ways they threaten you. So I guess my point is let's talk about getting out there on social media. Go on. Shit. That slipped out of my hands. I was trying to get her to go out a little bit. It was so slimy. It slipped right out of my fingers. Oh, man. That was pathetic. All right. So, anyway, so if you're going to get out there in social media, there are two things, and I'm not an expert. I have been ashamed by how little I know by my kids. There's a lot of that going on, a lot of shaming there. Dad's way behind. But I'm going to tell you what I'm doing as an old fogey. I think technically they say I'm a boomer because of my age. I'm six. I was born in '62, so they said it's up to 64 for a boomer. But boy, I don't feel like a boomer. Feel like a millennial. But anyway, um, when I go out to look for a social platform, my daughter said if you're really smart, you have two accounts. You have your main account, which is for your friends and stuff, and then you have a burner account that you go on every now and then. And the idea behind that is you don't want to sign up. If somebody asks you to sign up for stuff, you can send them to your other account. I can see that. I can see that very much. There have been people I know and people I care about, but I don't want them to feel I don't want to hear their diatribes about whatever activist cause they have. So I should have a second account for them. But if you go onto a social media platform, I think, there's lots of things to think about. One is who's on there. Uh, for instance, the only social media account I know that my daughter is on is uh, Instagram. My wife does Facebook and Twitter. I do Twitter, and uh, my sons do. Uh, oh, and I do Reddit too. I'm gonna. I don't. Yeah. Anyways, so my sons do different ones. They like the humor. They kind of avoid a lot of the social stuff. But here, so I want to talk about why I got off of Facebook because I was on there. I think I actually have an account somewhere that I just haven't been on in probably 10 years. I don't know, some almost 10 years. But I'm going to talk about why I got off of it, and then I'm going to talk about why I don't get on Twitter that much and why I do a lot more Reddit, and it has a lot to do with control. So on Facebook was where I found the most friends. I discovered the most relationships to people I cared about and saw a bunch of stuff on there. So every time I went on there, I would see a couple of things that made me feel really good. Like somebody would talk about having a wonderful walk with their dog, like Luna here. And then there'd be somebody talking about their fifth grader got uh, all A's on uh, their report card. Great stuff like that. Stuff where that you enjoyed. And then there would be somebody caustically talking about how horrible, I mean, derogatory, ugly language that I won't even repeat about somebody who was a elected official or somebody else that they hated that was a entertainer or something like that. And you're like, I, I don't really care about your elected official in Virginia or whatever. It wasn't Virginia, but I'm just making it say something. I don't care. Why are you on here? And it's like, oh, yeah, venting, it's good for the soul. Is it? Well, but I don't want to see it. And especially back then on Facebook, I didn't want to remove that person, but I was like, ugh, I don't like watching that. And after a while, Facebook became a place where I couldn't go and just enjoy myself. Like the good parts were getting knocked out by the ugly. And it wasn't, and it was like three quarters good, one quarter ugly. But that one quarter still, there's a lot of psychologists that talk about how your uh, ugly things really rivet you. They say that's why we have a lot of ugly political campaigns, is because fear and other stuff like that work really well. And so, anyways, that's why I got off of Facebook. So I got on Twitter, and when I first got on Twitter, it was a decent information pump. I was signing up for people that were, I was into two kinds of things back then when I was on Twitter. I was into keto and I was into uh, finance. So I was able to find people that were giving great information about both of those subjects, and they were putting up good stuff on there. And I was able to filter things enough where I was enjoying going to the platform. Then Donald Trump came along. It was soon after that I quit using Twitter very much. It became kind of caustic, and there was a lot of ugly people on there. There were some people that I thought were pretty good that I realized they they made it hard for me to sleep at night. So now my number one platform is Reddit. They haven't sold their platform yet, which will probably destroy it. But right now, I love Reddit. Why do I love Reddit? Two two reasons for sure. Let me give you the two reasons first, because there might be a third one that I'll think of. Because there's two of them that come to mind right away with Reddit. One is it's moderated content. So if I'm in, give you an example, when I go to bed, I like to read or view and read things that are humorous or light and entertainment, like funny animal videos or TV shows, you know, ratings or something like that. Something like, I like to keep it to that because I'm trying to go to sleep. I don't want to hear about some attack in a foreign country. I don't want to hear it. Not that I do that stuff in the morning. I do news. I usually listen to a couple of news channels. I love Wall Street Journal, but and I told you about grounded news. But I don't do that in at night when I go to bed. And Reddit allows me to do that. I can just filter what I want to read at that specific time. So that's why it's my number one platform right now. Like I said, they haven't sold themselves, and then they'll probably have to do something, get more eyeballs. Has this just been Glenn and his social media accounts? I haven't given you much concrete stuff to go on. Oh, I said there were two things. One is the moderated and uh, content in an area. The other is being able to block people. I have found that if I see somebody say something really ugly on one of the platforms, one of the subjects, I go and look at what their profile, and in their profile, it shows you stuff that they have posted. And when I look at their profile and it's nothing but ugly stuff, I go, aha, I don't want to listen to you anymore. Go away. The nice thing is, I've had, when I have conversations, and I do have conversations on there, I put replies up, and if people reply to me, I read their replies. They're nice. They're decent. I made a comment once about the the semiconductor industry and how the U.S. and Japan were the two primaries, and somebody said, "And the Dutch," and I'm like, "The Dutch? I moved from the Dutch," and they put up some information about ASLM, I think it is, lithographic services is from a Dutch company, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." So there you go. I'll add them to the list. And but it was nice. I learned a little bit. He wasn't ugly. He just corrected me and told me some information I was unaware of. I like it. I like people better. I'm going to talk about uh, getting out to see people and how you can find ways of talking to people. And we're going to talk about some ancient wisdom from India and the Hindus and about friendships and finding people too. Yeah. Not that I'm an expert in that. Oh, some pretty birds, whole bunch of birds. Oh, I'm not an expert in that, but it helped me early when I was learning stuff. Between that and the Dale Carnegie course that my dad had me do, it helped me a lot. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful morning. We will talk to you later, and don't get upset. Enjoy your day.